So another type of sketch that you guys might want to do as you move forward are sketches of flows, and we can do this in both plan and elevation, or sorry, plan and section. I'm gonna drastically sort of reduce my section line. It's quite crazy. It's something like this. And then at a certain point, we drop down to water level. You guys might diagram your sections, your measured sections out like this before you begin projecting or trying to like figure out what you want to put on them. You might just do like a really sketchy line drawing where you delineate certain areas. So I know, for example, in my site, that part of this site is industrial, and we have our kind of narrow pathway here. And then this site is parkland, and this up here is all residential. So you can start like breaking things into zones. Now, if you're recording certain things about your sites that require you to really think about what was happening either underground or what has been removed from above. So I know some of you will be looking at soil profiles, and you can always kind of like use a sketch to sort of plan out what you want to show. Maybe you know that like your bedrock line or your hard pan line is basically down by sea level, and everything above that is a variety of different strata and textures. You might also discover, for example, this land has been formed by forces that have changed it over time. So it's possible that we will discover that this used to be a much rockier and more naturalized shoreline. What if the shoreline used to look like this? It wouldn't surprise me. So if you wanted to show stuff that has happened in the background, or stuff that has happened in the past, you can always use a sort of like delineation system. So we have our line of existing, and then we have our line of what is lost. As you discover more about these lines that are going on underneath the surface, some of you will have certain elements that will not have very much visible characteristics on the top, but they're going to have quite intense visual signatures along the ground line. So a few of you have mine shafts, and I know that it's difficult for us to know exactly where these are, but I think that in these sections, because we want to reveal something about our sites, you could definitely make some educated guesses about where those are. And interesting will be, what is over top of that area now? Some places there may be housing right over top of a mine shaft and we wouldn't even know it. Other places you're going to see sort of seams of different materials. So some places you're going to see seams of copper, seams of coal, and we always want to kind of like, we'd want to pick those out as important in our underground strata. You might also see, for example, some of you might see where there has been erosion over time. So you might see a scenario where your section over geological time has shifted. You can kind of like draw in, you could say like line of shore, 1857, line of shore. 1890. You can keep doing this as you discover more about your sites. These might be lines that you can draw on your sections. So for this section, it's not just about recording what is there right now. It's about showing what is hidden below the surface or has been hidden over time because of removal or extraction. So that's one way you can kind of show different flows and time inside a section. If we were to move down into plan, some of you will be focusing on circulation and flows of water or people over a site. You might be focusing on the flows of animals or migration. You could also be focusing on other changes that show up in plan over time. So I was just thinking about the project in Yellowknife where we have, I'm just drastically reducing this, but this is Great Slave Lake. This is the land, and during the summer the shoreline looks approximately like that. There's a yacht club in here somewhere. So we could say line of summer shore. And then we also know that in the winter there's an ice road that runs along the edge. So we might have an idea that this edge gets frozen to a certain thickness that would allow us to have infrastructure on top. That means the shoreline kind of moves maybe over here, and that may have to do with the depth of the water. So we could say line of winter shore. Nobody says that your sketches have to be complicated, so don't try to do too much. Sketches are really there to clarify concepts for other people. So the clearer you can make them, the better it is.